he made use of his own life to touch the life of this youth at risk. And I felt that this is really what matters. I mean, it's not whether he's an Olympian, whether he is the fastest runner or whatever, but really a life that is transformed, a life that is able to touch the lives of others is really what is more important.
Bless you, Lewis. Welcome home. All of Torrance was praying for your safe return.
Miracles didn't save me, Padre. A couple of atomic bombs did that.
You're Louis Zamperini, aren't you? Thank you.
For what?
For preserving the free world for silly girls like me.
People from all over the country want to know if you're going to run in the London Olympics.
What's this?
If you're going to train for London, you have to do it right. Just go nice and easy, see if you can make it all the way around.
You think you can run a 4.7 mile again? I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't. I don't run to run. I run to win.
You will never escape me. Wherever you go, I will find you.
Are you sleeping well? You having any night sweats or nightmares?
I just thought I'd be able to forget everything.
I want to go home.
There is no home.
Why is God silent while good men suffer? Why doesn't he stop the pestilence? Why doesn't he stop the wars?
You need help.
Here tonight, there's a drowning man, just looking for some type of hope for the future. But there's a lifeline. Just reach out.
These men did terrible things to you. What are you going to say to them?
Someone is asking that were there any moments when you were in doubt of the Lord's presence? And if so, what brought you back to Christ?
So I wouldn't say I was like totally in doubt of God's presence, but it was a low point for me in terms of running. So 2015, I was about to run a New Orleans rock and roll marathon, and this would be my pretty much my last chance to qualify for the 2015 Southeast Asian Games, which would be held later that year in Singapore in June. So what had happened is a couple of months before that, when I was training in Kenya, I jammed I jammed my toe against a rock, and it didn't cause me an injury, but it was causing me issues. It was giving me a bit of local numbness in the area, and sometimes the faster I ran, I actually couldn't feel that toe, and there were days that I did feel that I couldn't even, don't talk about finishing the run. I did, actually, on that morning of the race, I thought I couldn't even get through the warm up. I just kept praying, and I just kept having the faith. And when I started off the run that day, I felt the numbness come on, but just staying in the moment and really trusting God through that whole 2 hours and 32 minutes, somehow the numbness disappeared, and miraculously, right, the marathon run, all the pounding on the pavement made that numbness go away. And so I never had that issue ever since that run. And that wouldn't have been possible without a miracle. So the thing is, in the movie, towards the start, Louis Zamperini was telling the priest, right? Miracles didn't save me; it was atom bombs that did. But there are so many miracles day to day, whether we realize it or not. I mean, this was just one example in my own running career of a miracle. And then if you go back to look at what happens in Kenya, right? I got to train in Kenya with the world's really fastest distance runners. The amazing thing is that they recognize that their ability to run fast comes from a higher source, because they recognize that that kind of pace that they run is actually humanly not really possible. Yeah, to run it for like a minute, okay, but to run it for hours and hours is just not. So that's why a lot of my Kenyan friends, I realized, and this really moved me when I was training there, they are very connected spiritually, whether Catholic or Christian. Faith is a very big part of their life. So I believe we can translate some of those values into what we do every day, whether it's running or whether it's in our personal life or your spiritual walk as well.
Okay, Terence, any to add to that?
Yeah, maybe I'll just mention about the 2 years and 9 months of exodus, where I was without a job. Back in 2001, I was a regional infrastructure manager taking care of operations in Asia Pacific. And then my company decided to pull out of operations in Asia. So that's why I was laid off. It was a difficult time. And I wonder, and my children at that time, my daughter is 3 years old, my son is just 1 year old. Okay. And it was very difficult and I was struggling. How do I feed my family? And at that time, it was also the economy downturn. It was very, very difficult to find a job. In fact, at one point, was even considering that I would drive taxi, okay, or even be a farm attendant just to bring some money in. I give you what has happened is that I have to sell my HDB flat to cash out some CPF savings in order to feed my family. So at that point, I was struggling. Why did God do this to me? why am I suffering in this way? But it is also in this 2 years and 9 months journey that I actually went to the pit and back, and God brought me up again. Meaning to say, I've gone through the difficulty, I've gone through the suffering, and then I will also realize that no matter how talented I am in my area of work, taking care of IT operations and all that, how skillful I am, if it's not God who opened the opportunity, if it's not God who leads me into a job or into a career, I can achieve nothing. And also through it all, I also was humbled in the journey and in the process where when people would actually give me money, and as a person who has been doing well and fine in my career, it is difficult to receive a donation or a sum of money from somebody whom I don't know. But it was a humbling experience and journey that I've gone through. And I also realized also through it all, even when I don't have money, if somebody give me a $50, okay, I will also tithe the $50. So I will still put aside 1/10 in the tithe envelope. Okay, so that's what I would do. And through that 2 years and 9 months, I realized that it is more than just myself. It is more than just my career. It is the person, Terence, whom God is very interested in. In that 2 years and 9 months of suffering, God was preparing me, molding me, changing me, and my family, my wife as well. And what happened is, like I mentioned, in fact, in 2004, I believe it was May or June, I can't remember. I applied for LTA license to be a taxi driver. I just received the letter. And then on the same day itself, I received a call from this company to say, hey, we are offering you this job. And that's the company I'm still with even today. And that is really a journey where I went through a moment of doubt down to the pit. And then my spiritual life grew from there. And now I have been walking closely with God even up to today. That's my experience where I was where Job, the book of Job, really connected. I really connected with that, and that is my sharing. Yeah, I know I took up some time. Sorry about that.
Yes, thank you for that wonderful inspirational sharing, and for letting us know also lah. So I have an additional question. So there's this line from the movie, right, which says that everyone needs help at some time, even heroes. I think Louis' brother said this. So we'd like to hear, who are your pillars of support in these tough times?
Okay, yeah. So the pillars of support I have my family, namely my wife, who's Sandra on this call, and my dad as well. They've been very supportive of what I do, not just in running, but in terms of the chiropractic direction, which is quite very different from what we had envisioned myself doing earlier. It was quite a radical leap of faith, so to speak, but I wouldn't have been able to be where I am definitely without the support of my family and now my wife. And another hero I definitely like to credit is my mom. She passed away in 2010, and she's been a very big inspiration behind why I do what I do in terms of running, triathlon, or just in general. Because even when I run, right, I wear this Kenyan bracelet to remind me of my time in Kenya. But I also have the on the flip side, I put the word strong here. I custom made this in Kenya. So when I'm running, to take my mind off the physical pain of that fast pace, my mantra is strength and grace. So I will always repeat strength and grace, strength and grace. This will refer to mom's strength from above and as well as God's grace. So definitely these are my heroes, especially my mom. So I literally almost carry a piece of her, and when I run, and it's a good reminder. So I think it's good to always find out reminders to acknowledge the people that have got us to where we are today, and we take on some of those values that they taught us, even if they have passed on.
Yes, very wonderful. Terence, anything to add to that?
Well, I just talk about, I think help. I receive help a lot through the years of joblessness, and also through the journey of running, finding out the right way to run for myself in my condition. I think I will also highlight that my wife, she has been really a pillar of strength for me where I am weak, when I need help, when I feel hopeless. And just like it was depicted in the movie, that it is the wife who actually, she was upset and angry with Louis, but she also realized that being upset, being angry with him is not going to help him. And that's why she said, I'm not going to divorce you. And that's where she decided, I will walk through with you this journey of struggle. And that is the journey that my wife has gone through with me. And even when I'm going through my ultras, when I'm running 200 Ks, it's like 40 hours and in the mountain and all that. It was difficult, but it was the thinking of, I want to finish it, to challenge myself. I want to finish it for my family, because my family had allowed me to invest time in my running, my passion, to be in the mountains, to be in the trails, to be and to be immersed in the creation of God. That is really what my family has give of their time to allow me to do all this. And this is really what I think is very beneficial. My family has enabled me to do all this. Yeah, and I really enjoy, and really my wife, I would say that is my help. And along the way, I have received a lot of help. I would say during my time of joblessness, somebody who I'm barely acquainted walked up to me and gave me a check of $10,000. And he said, take it before I change my mind. Because it's not easy to just walk up to somebody and offer him a $10,000 check. But he knew the condition I was in, and he just decided to do it. And those are the times that I really felt, really, it cannot be human, it cannot be man, but it's God who has provided all those. Thank you.
It really does provide. Thank you. I think we've heard very inspirational stories, just like, the experiences like the film. I think I was quite amazed that, well, I wasn't very surprised, but then Louis and his wife then ended up being married for 54 years after that. So again, I also think that it's probably God's grace. Do you have any closing remarks for us, especially, for people, any advice or tips for people who are, going through a tough patch, so that they need a bit of extra encouragement to keep going, maybe like how, as Dr. Liew said, you keep your encouragement reminder somewhere, so that at all times you can refer and, you can pray and get some strength lah.
I probably will go first, and I'll say I think it's important to have your friends around you, because you can when you're going through easy time, you can stand on your own. It's very easy to move on, but it is when you are going through difficult times that you need your friends around you to remind you, to encourage you, and to be with you. Okay, and I think that is very important. Um, surround yourself with friends with whom you can trust, and um, they are the ones who will be there for you. God is not tangible. We cannot really see God, but we can see God working through our friends, through our loved ones, and that is really what I think is helpful for us, especially when you're going through difficult time.
So for myself, there was a scene, right, in the Revival 10 when Billy Graham was talking about accepting the Lord Jesus Christ as a foundation, because there's something like there's no problem that no matter how difficult that he can't solve, right? I think there will be definitely days, mornings that we don't feel like getting out of bed to head to work or to go for a run. I get that sometimes as well. I mean, I don't have that motivation or drive, especially when training for a very big, tough block, or when I'm just suffering through other non-running trials in life. But what gets me going is I always remember what's my why in life. Why do I do what I do? So for me, over the years, I've realized that my why is to fulfill all the potential God has blessed me with. Why are you doing this in the first place? Why are you out at 6 a.m. doing a 30-kilometer run when you could just be sleeping? Or so many other examples. Remember your why. Okay, and that will get you out of bed. That will keep you going, even when you're struggling and having a difficult time.
Okay, there's one more question. How do you know what's your potential, or how to find your why?
It takes time for sure. I didn't know my why when I was like just out of NS or even through my undergrad stage. It takes a combination of different things. It takes a lot of prayer. Okay, it takes a lot of narrowing what your scope and finding out what your true purpose in life is. Because you can play many different hats, right? And may have many different roles, and you can be busy in life. But what's your one true purpose in life? I can't say exactly when that's going to hit you. For me, it hit me when I was actually in chiropractic school, because I was trying to juggle running and trying to complete a very difficult doctor of chiropractic degree. And that was when actually one of the modules, the professor was telling us to find our why. Actually, if not for that module, I may not have actually embarked on this soul-searching, prayerful kind of mission. So I would encourage everyone, if you haven't started thinking about your why, actually to start right now. And that's what I tell some of the youth when I start sharing with them. Start thinking about your why from a young age. It's okay to refine it along the way, but at least you have a direction.
I would say that I started running or returned back to running with just 3 kilometers of run. Okay. Just to keep myself healthy, or regain any health that I have squandered away. And when I started doing that, I recognized that I am able to get healthier if I just take care of myself. And I went on to do longer distances, at higher elevations. I do runs that are 10 kilometer in elevation gain. So those are the reasons. I mean, when I was doing all those, I asked myself why. And why am I doing this? Why am I punishing myself and going through all this pain? So the why is actually when I'm in the mountains and in the forest, right? I really enjoy being there. I really enjoy seeing the creations of God. That's first thing. And the other thing is, I also noticed over the time, I realized that by doing this, by doing what I'm doing, I'm able to offer my own life as a inspiration to others. And that's my why. The why here is that I want to do something that will hold people in their path and ask, hey, why would you be doing that? Why don't you stay in and sleep? Why don't you go watch a movie? But why would you do that? Why would you do a 200-kilometer run? I think my life is an opportunity for me to allow me to do something so that others will ask the question, to open the door. We talk about evangelism, right? But it's telling people, hey, come, I tell you about God, I tell you about Jesus. It's not as effective as they come up to you and say, hey, why are you doing what you're doing? And through it all, when they ask, why are you doing what you're doing? Then it gives me the opportunity about my own encounter. And it also gives me the opportunity to encourage them to believe that God has made all of us unique, special, and He has placed within us the potential to achieve what He has prepared us to achieve. And let us discover that together, and let us journey together so that we will be able to fulfill our purpose here on earth. We are not here to be born, to go through suffering, to work 70, 80 years of your life, to accumulate the wealth, and then die, and then pass on that finances that you have to your children or whatever. That is not life. There is a bigger purpose than that. And that is really what I hope to be able to inspire the people around.
Thank you. I think that's very well said. So I think that's probably the last question we were able to take. So thank you, everybody. I think that it's been really a privilege for me to moderate this session. Thank you, Dr. Liew. Thank you, Terence, for sharing your wonderful stories. We'll keep you in mind when we get any more running shows, okay? Yes, thank you very much for the both panelists. So God bless everybody. Yes, thank you.